Hey Ryan, when you're doing sales, you always seem to be laughing it off. But now I get it. With just a high school dropout's brain, you can't really come up with any clever conversation, can you? Can't be helped, I guess. Because you're a high school dropout, huh? Sorry, my talk was too sophisticated for you to follow. My bad, I can't dumb it down to a dropout level.
I was invited by a client to a mixer. However, once the client knew I was a high school dropout, they started looking down on me in front of everyone. I decided it's better not to stir up trouble and just let it slide for now. Yeah, well, that's how it goes, I said, and quickly downed my drink. But this seemed to upset the client even more.
What's your deal? Acting all high and mighty for a dropout. Do you know who's responsible for you even having a job?
I was stunned by their words. Does this person even understand their own position?
Such an attitude towards me, your client. Remember, I can easily crush your little company. If you don't like that, apologize pitifully for your insolence.
Empowered by alcohol, their true colors showed, and the other participants seemed taken aback by their arrogance. Then, either joking or serious, they leaned in to grab my head.
Come on, apologize to me pitifully.
Is he really going to make me apologize? Just when I was bracing myself, an unbelievable event unfolded before everyone's eyes. And that was the beginning of the end of the client's career. My name is Ryan. I'm 35 and work at an advertising agency. Not in newspapers or TV, but internet advertising. You know, a web ad agency. My main job is sales, working directly with clients, understanding their problems and budgets to offer the best solutions. Keeping up with demands are tough, but hearing glad we went with Ryan makes it all worth it. But I didn't start out here. In my senior year of high school, I lost my father in a car accident. After his death, my mom worked tirelessly to support me and my brother. Even then, it was tough to make ends meet. Mom worked multiple jobs, looking more and more exhausted each day. I couldn't stand the thought of losing her too. I have to save Mom and my brother. So, I dropped out of high school to work.
Ryan, I'm sorry you have to go through this.
It's okay, Mom. I wanted to work early anyway. Just take care of Joe. He loves studying and should go to college.
Ryan.
Mom hugged me. Her body was thinner and frailer than I thought. I had to save them. Once again, I made a firm commitment to save my mom and little brother. Finding a job as a dropout high school was hard. I finally landed a gig at a small IT firm. Their ad said no experience needed, education not a barrier. We want diverse talent. With no tech skills, becoming an engineer was tough. I almost gave up many times. Even as an IT newbie, far from knowing programming, I decided to first cram all the basic knowledge into my head. I used my days off to study vigorously, sparing no moment for sleep, using related books and basic IT technician exam guides. I would actively ask my coworkers about things I didn't understand, repeatedly clarifying my doubts. Thanks to such diligent effort and the strict guidance of my coworkers, I was able to grasp the basics of programming. But I learned something even more important. I used to think being an engineer was all about solitary work, glued to a computer, but it was not like that at all.
Ryan, how's the progress?
Almost done with the code. I'll help you with your part next, boss.
Thanks. Please take care of this file.
I learned on the job that system development is all about teamwork, and communication is crucial to carry out projects. Besides technical skills, I actively honed my communication abilities to earn trust from clients and team members. Understanding the client's needs and proposing good ideas. When we developed a high-quality system, the whole team celebrated. My team started to outperform others. Continuing to provide quality work, our company's reputation grew, leading to more connections with major corporations. Chatting with executives, I often ended up sharing my background, telling them I'm a high school dropout who struggled to get here. I was surprised how many top executives from big companies understand and empathize, saying, "I feel you," or "It was hard getting here." They appreciated my work, considering the adversities I faced. Thanks to that, I was able to steadily increase dealings with major corporations, earning a great reputation in the company. On a busy yet fulfilling day at work, I was headhunted by another company. After much thought, I decided to switch jobs. I believed it was a place to utilize what I had learned fully. This move became a significant turning point in my life. The new company, also in IT, wasn't as big as the previous one yet, but its vibrancy and potential for growth excited me.
Ryan, we're almost at Company A.
The voice brought me back to reality. Lost in thought again, I was in a taxi on the way to meet a client.
Daydreaming?
The woman beside me, Emily, smiled amusingly. With her striking looks and tall, slender figure, she could be mistaken for a model by those who don't know her. She's a valuable coworker with extensive knowledge and experience in web advertising, often accompanying me on external visits. Sorry, I was zoning out. Just relieved about the recent deal getting finalized. I shouldn't be slacking, even on the job. Time to refocus.
It's okay, but it's great that the contract with Company F went through. The boss sounded really happy over the phone. He's glad he trusted you, Ryan.
No, I still have a long way to go, but I'll continue to do my best to be of help to everyone. We got out of the taxi, arriving at our second client meeting of the day. I sighed inwardly. We had a smooth transaction and a good relationship with major company A, but things changed recently with the new contact person. His name is Michael, and I find him somewhat difficult to deal with. Apparently an elite graduate, he often boasts about his education and evaluates others based on their academic credentials, which tends to prolong meetings unnecessarily. Although I wanted to get to the main topic, I knew better than to offend someone so prideful. I decided to just listen and nod along to his story with a smile. Just when the meeting topic was wrapping up, Michael suddenly mentioned,
"Hey, Ryan, I'm organizing a mixer next week. You should definitely come. It's a group dating, but we end up talking business most of the time. There will be folks from big corporations too, so it'll be a great networking event."
I was invited, but honestly, I didn't want to interact with Michael outside of work.
Oh, and you should come too. Emily, I've been wanting to have a good chat with you at this opportunity.
Michael said, grinning at Emily. It was unclear if he was trying to hide it or not, but his tone and gaze made his ulterior motives towards Emily quite obvious. Michael's fondness for mixers was well known, regularly hosting them and hitting on any woman he fancied. Thinking I couldn't let Emily attend such a gathering, I politely declined. No, thanks, we're good. However, Michael replied with a look of disbelief.
Ryan, you really don't get it, do you? These social drinking events are where you build good relationships for future business. Understand, you'll miss out on great contract opportunities like this.
He had a point, but I still wasn't keen on it. Surprisingly, Emily said, I'll go. If I'm with Ryan, then. I was shocked, while Michael looked pleased.
Great. Emily gets it. So Ryan, you're in too. Looking forward to it.
And like that, Emily and I were somewhat coerced into attending Michael's group dating. In the taxi back, I checked with Emily to make sure she wasn't feeling pressured. You can still back out if you want.
It's okay. Like Michael said, you never know where a business opportunity might be. It's a bit daunting to go alone, but I think I'll be fine if you're there with me.
Emily replied, smiling at me. Yay. I managed, feeling a sudden jolt, and quickly looked away. On the day of the group dating, we arrived at a fancy restaurant Michael had chosen. It was a stylish and serene place, and we were led to a private room where Michael and a few men and women were already seated. The women were all stunning, and the men were wearing expensive suits. It seemed like the guests were indeed from top-tier companies. Michael quickly became the center of attention.
I know the owner of this restaurant. He's also a grad from my alma mater, so we have great conversations.
The women laughed in agreement. Certainly, it's easier when there's no educational gap. The men seemed to think agreeing with Michael was the right move, complimenting him. Pleased, Michael boasted more.
Every time I mention my university at meetings, there are high expectations. But, being as outstanding as I am, I always exceed them.
Emily and I exchanged glances, thinking, here we go again. Just another session of Michael's bragging. We decided to enjoy our meals and have a casual chat instead. Seemingly annoyed by our disinterest, Michael suddenly asked me,
By the way, Ryan, which college did you graduate from?
I answered honestly, not hiding anything. I didn't go to college.
High school graduate.
No, due to some circumstances, I dropped out of high school and started working. Then I moved to my current company. There was a moment of silence. Then Michael burst out laughing.
You're joking, right? Ryan is a high school dropout. Lower educated than anyone here. In this day and age, a dropout. That's like a living fossil. That's funny.
His attitude towards me visibly changed, looking down on me. The other participants were whispering and chuckling uncomfortably.
I can't believe our business partner employs a high school dropout. This could affect our company's reputation.
As the alcohol started affecting Michael, he became more talkative and heated up.
Ryan, you're always smiling and calm during sales, but I get it now. You're just covering up for your lack of confidence in sales talk, right? With just a high school dropout's brain, you can't really come up with any smart talk, can you? I always felt something was lacking. You just nod along to whatever I say. I see my talk was too complex for you to follow. Sorry about that. Can't dumb it down to a dropout level. Haha.
Yeah, you're right. I was playing the role of a foil to him, but I decided it was better not to stir up trouble and just let it slide. The men who initially chuckled at Michael's remarks gradually began to feel uneasy as his insults escalated. However, there was one person glaring sharply at Michael. It was Emily. I tried to signal to her with my eyes, "I'm fine, don't worry about me," but it was futile. Noticing Emily's gaze, Michael, misinterpreting it, smirked and turned to her.
Emily, it must be hard for you, working with someone with such a low education. It's tough, right? Having to work with someone so dumb, even for work.
No, there are many people who excel regardless of their education, and I respect Ryan for his work.
Come on, let's not be formal today. Hey, why don't you quit your current job and work for me? With my recommendation, it's possible right away. Our company could offer you double, no, 5 times your current salary. We're a top-tier company, after all. How about it? It's a great offer, right?
The other women were envious.
So unfair. I want to work for Michael's company too.
Well, I'd love that too. Working at a big company like Company A would be something to brag about.
But Emily's attitude was distinctly different. Her tone was calm but firm, her eyebrows knitted tightly as she spoke decisively.
I absolutely love my current company and take great pride in working here. So, I'll have to decline your offer. Thank you.
Michael, clearly displeased with her response, clicked his tongue. He scoffed and then spitefully remarked,
Pity. Well, women are just for decoration in the workplace anyway. If you change your mind, let me know. A beauty like you is always welcome.
I couldn't ignore that insulting comment. Michael, please take back what you just said. Emily is a highly competent employee in our company. Not many can match her attention to clients' needs. This response infuriated Michael.
What do you think you're doing? Talking back to me, a mere high school dropout. You should remember who's feeding you.
He looked down on me, raising his voice. I was astounded by his words. Did he really understand his own position?
What? I can cancel the contract with your company if you want.
What did you say?
You dare to talk back to me, your client. If you upset me, I can easily crush your company. If you don't want that, then bow down and apologize for your insolence.
I just listened silently to his tirade. Actually, I was too stunned to respond. The other participants seemed taken aback by his blatant arrogance, likely fueled by alcohol. Then, either joking or serious, he leaned forward and grabbed my head.
Come on, apologize to me pitifully.
Is he really going to make me apologize? Just then, it happened. Splash! Everyone, including me, gasped at the unexpected sight. Emily had thrown a glass of water on Michael.
You've had too much to drink, Michael. Maybe you should cool down a bit.
Her voice was icy, though her face was smiling. Michael was stunned, dripping with water, unable to comprehend what had just happened. As he realized, he began to tremble with rage.
What did you do, foolish woman?
Michael, more furious than ever, shouted,
Your sales guy is a dull dropout, and your female employee is untrained. Your company is finished. I'm canceling our contract right here.
I responded calmly, Understood. We will send you the details for the contract termination later. Caught off guard by my response, he snorted in a mocking manner.
What are you talking about? Someone like you can't possibly have a say in a deal with a major company like ours.
It seemed to him that I was just another salesperson without any real authority. As I was wondering how to explain,
Ryan is the next president of our company, so he certainly has the authority to make decisions.
Emily intervened in our conversation. This revelation shocked Michael and the other participants, who found it hard to believe.
What? A low-educated high school dropout like him becoming the next president? That's unbelievable. You need to come up with a better joke than that.
This is no joke. I thought it was common knowledge among the presidents and executives of our contract partners. Let's go back a bit. The reason I joined this company was that my younger brother asked me to join his firm. Actually, the company I'm currently working at is an IT advertising firm founded by my brother. After graduating from college, my brother joined a small business venture and then, 3 years later, established his own venture. His company grew rapidly in a short time, gaining some recognition in the industry. To further expand, he thought it was necessary to connect with major companies and approached me.
You have connections with many top-tier companies like M&K, right? I want you to be the bridge between our company and these major firms.
Besides my network, my brother valued my communication skills and wanted my help in improving the communication abilities of the employees, both internally and externally. His plan was to eventually entrust me with the company as the next president. Of course, I initially refused, thinking it was too much for me, but my brother was persistent.
This company was actually founded with the desire to work together with you. I was able to go to college because you sacrificed so much for me. I really wanted to repay you.
Moved by my brother's sincere feelings, I decided to join his company and give it my all. Since then, I've been leveraging my connections to bridge my brother's company with major corporations.
Oh, Ryan, we're happy to do business with you. We feel secure dealing with you.
I was delighted to hear this from many of our partners. Realizing my background, Michael looked a bit pale but still hadn't grasped the situation. He glared at me fiercely and raised his voice.
So what? If you lose a deal with a big company like ours, it's your loss, right?
I inwardly smiled at his lack of understanding of his own position. Not really. It's more of a loss for you, isn't it? Recently, your president Alex mentioned that the deal we are working on is a major project crucial for your company's future. Shocked and clearly rattled by this, I continued, We were eager to help, but it's unfortunate. I'll report the suspension of our deal to my superiors. Indeed, losing one contract would not greatly impact our company, especially since we had just secured a year-long continuous order with a major firm like F. For Michael's company, the stakes were much higher. Nevertheless, his own blunder would turn everything to nothing, making him bear a heavy responsibility.
It can't be happening to me.
Michael finally realized the gravity of the situation, but still couldn't accept his mistake. Trembling with anger,
And you, Emily, how dare you throw water on me? Do you think that's okay? That's a serious assault. I could sue your company.
he turned to Emily, boasting as if he had won. But she remained resolute.
Oh, weren't you the one who tried to make Ryan apologize first? Everyone here sue that.
Indeed, everyone nodded in agreement.
And if you're thinking of suing, I won't hesitate to sue you for sexual harassment.
The room buzzed in confusion. I was startled hearing this for the first time. Michael, now red-faced and shaking with rage, yelled,
It doesn't make sense. Where's the evidence? That's a baseless accusation.
Ignoring his breathless fury, Emily calmly took out her smartphone.
I have all the evidence right here.
The voice recorder played Michael's voice unmistakably. Prepositions for dates, insistent invitations to dinners, and at worst, hints of overnight stays. Indisputable proof of sexual harassment was laid bare. At a loss for words, Michael finally conceded, shoulders slumped in defeat. To him, I shared my insights gained through experience. No matter the size of the company, I've found that the most successful companies are led by sincere people. They remain humble in any situation. On the contrary, people like you who boast and look down on others are often insecure and small-minded. Michael's face twisted as if he had bitten into a bitter bug in response to my words. By then, the intoxication of the others had completely faded, and they were all intently listening to my story with nods of "I see." Afterward, nobody paid any more attention to Michael's words. Instead, everyone gathered around me, eager to hear more about my experiences. When I noticed, Michael had disappeared. On the way home, the slightly chilled breeze felt pleasant. Emily and I decided to walk to get a taxi. With a refreshed expression, she said,
That was quite liberating.
but deep down, something was bothering me. I had to ask Emily why she hadn't confided in me about Michael's harassment. Emily, why didn't you talk to me about Michael? I felt a quiet shock and a sense of inadequacy at not having known anything, despite spending so much time together. You could rely on me more, you know. Am I that unreliable? I muttered half-jokingly. After a moment of seeming confusion, she blushed and said shyly,
I didn't want to trouble you, and I thought you, being so kind, would take me off the account to avoid discomfort for me. I didn't want to lose our time together, I guess.
Her unexpected response made my heart skip a beat. There's no trouble at all. Please don't hesitate to talk to me. No, it's on me to become a supervisor who everyone can rely on, I said, somewhat hastily to hide my embarrassment. Then, looking into my eyes with a playful smile,
You know, Ryan, you've been a dependable boss to me since the first time we met.
she whispered as if sharing a secret. Typically, I composed, couldn't help but blush at her words. The next day, I reported the incident with Michael to my brother, the president of our company. He understood immediately and seemed to be making calls to Company A. That evening, President Alex of Company A came in person, visibly upset, to apologize. As expected, they wanted to retract the suspension of our contract. Apparently, Michael had been a problem in their company for a while, with reports of sexual and verbal harassment, and they were already discussing his dismissal. Due to the recent uproar, he was suddenly transferred to a subcontracting company, essentially a demotion. President Alex, whom my brother and I respected for his character, requested one more chance, promising a sincere approach with a new representative. We decided to let bygones be bygones and continued the business relationship. 3 years later, I formally took over as president from my brother. Thanks to the team's efforts, our company continued to grow and prosper. Rumor had it that Michael couldn't adapt to his new workplace and resigned soon after. Apparently, his bad reputation was quite well known, and he received cold stares from those around him, making his work environment quite uncomfortable. His subsequent job search also didn't go well, and now he's reportedly working part-time at a convenience store. It seems that a sudden resignation from a major corporation led people to suspect he had caused some scandal in his previous job, resulting in difficulties getting hired elsewhere. He ended up working part-time at a convenience store, a shadow of his former self, occasionally getting scolded by the manager. As for me, Emily and I officially started dating after that night and eventually got married, becoming partners in both life and work. As a still new president, I always keep in mind the importance of sincerity. Regardless of position or environment, education is just one part of life experience and not a measure of a person. No matter how highly educated, no one follows a person lacking sincerity. What matters is the way a person is. I aim to continue learning without arrogance, boldly taking on challenges, and leading my team as such a leader.